Shankarama Hiremat is saying, Sudhir, how to solve family problem? This is an interesting question. How many of you have family problems? Can I request you to respond to me in chat? How many of you have family problems? How many of you have family problems? I am really sorry to all my Kannada friends. Extremely sorry. Many of you are requesting me to speak in Kannada. Since we are live on all the channels, we are live nationally. I have to speak in Kannada, English, so that it helps everyone. Requesting you to understand, adjust. I'm sorry about it. So, how many of you have family problems? Okay, Syed Zakir. Ganesh says yes. Vinayak says. Chalapati says. Pramod says. Okay. Nagarjuna says. Okay. Good. So I think now that many of you are saying that your family problem, let me give you a context on why a family problem originates, why it happens. Normally, family problems are created for various reasons. Let's understand one by one. The first one is with your parents. Whether you are, male or female, you normally will have problem with your parents. Why do you normally have family problem with parents? Either they have not met your expectation or you have not met their expectation. Simply, you understand? If you have a family problem with your parents, it's only because of two problems. Either you have not met their expectation or they have not met your expectation. Now, I'm a son. I'm also playing that role. So my suggestion number one, in case if your parents have not met your expectations, you have absolutely no right to question them. I'm telling you again, the first family problem is is with your parents. If you have family problem with your parents, that's because of two reasons. Either you have not met their expectation or they have not met your expectation. In case if your parents have not met your expectation, you should just ignore it and continue doing your job. Them, don't trouble them, and you have absolutely no right to torture them. They've given you birth, they've raised you, that's it, over. You have absolutely no right to question them. I'm telling you again. I was recently reading a quote that says, by the time you realize that your father was not wrong, you will have a son who thinks you're wrong. How true it is. By the time you realize that your father was not wrong, you will have a son who thinks you're wrong. So don't expect anything from your parents. Whatever they've given you, that is what you owe them. That itself is big. So don't expect anything more. The second reason why you will have problem with your parents is because you are not meeting their expectations. It is obvious, man. Think about it. Today, I've got my kids. When I got my sons in my hand, when the doctor gave me my son first time, I was like, oh my God, what do I want him to become? I was like, I want him to become a doctor, engineer, scientist, businessman, billionaire, Prime Minister of India. All those thoughts were running in my mind. I hope you're getting my point. Similar way, your parents dreamt about it. My parents dreamt about it. It is our duty to fulfill their aspirations, expectations. But remember one thing. It is wrong to say that our parents are pushing us. I've seen many jokers coming to Indian Money for interview. They say that, why did you do your engineering? No, sir, it was my parents' push. I was not interested. I was not interested in engineering. It was just because my parents were pushing me, I did that. Otherwise, I'm not interested. Friends, I'm telling you, that's not the way to look at it. Life is not all about that. I want you to understand what is that you can do. See, many people say, no, my parents don't trust me. I ask you, when did you do something which which made your parents to feel proud about you? You've not done it. Do something. Make your parents feel proud about you. Then you see the magic happening. Then you will see that your parents will start, admiring you. So never have that. In case if you're not meeting expectation of the parents, then I think that that's natural to have that family problem, but that's all temporary. I don't want you to create any long-term issue. See, I've seen in many families, what happens here is, in many families, I've seen this with across India, I've seen this with many of my customers. They will have problem with their family members. I mean, they'll have problem with their parents once, and they carry it forever. That's wrong, friends. Don't do that. See, it is natural to have some family problem, but don't carry it for a long time. The moment you carry it for a long time, that stays. That will create problem. Don't do it. That's going to be a disaster. I don't want to do it. So now let's come to the second part of it. So first part is your problem with your parents. Second is your problem with your siblings. Okay. I'll tell you, largely your problem with your siblings because you all are competing for your ancestral property, your father's assets. As long as you're confident, as long as you don't bother about what your father has created for you, you won't have problem with your siblings. Only when you are fighting for your ancestral property with your siblings, you'll have problem with your siblings. Otherwise, you won't have any family problem with your siblings. You'll truly enjoy it. I'm telling you, it's a great feeling to be with your siblings. So that problem will not rise. The third family problem is with your spouse. The third family problem is with your spouse. Why do you normally have family problem with your spouse? Same story. Either you have not met her expectation or his expectation, or he has not met or she has not met your expectation. Both the cases. It's only because of setting wrong expectation, setting too much of expectation, or not understanding their expectation properly and living up to it. It's very important. And I think this can be solved. This can be addressed by talking to each other. Many families I've seen, in fact, unfortunately or fortunately, there's a family court behind my office in Bangalore. I see, even during this COVID pandemic period, people who got married even 6 months back, 3 months back, 2 months back, some people 30 years back, they are now applying for divorce and they are waiting there in the queue. I can see all age groups. That's not right. I don't want you to do that. So I think with your spouse, first thing is to talk. First thing is to accept. You have made a mistake, accept it. And they made a mistake, make them understand. And kill that ego between you both. If you carry ego between yourself, then you will never be able to fix your family problem. I don't want you to do that. Please understand that. Next one is you'll have family problem with your kids, your children. And this is a serious issue. Please understand. If you have family problem with your children, then how do you handle it? This is a serious issue. Am I right? How do you handle family problem with your children? It's a very simple approach. I'll tell you. In fact, this discussion I had with my father yesterday, he was talking about someone's children who are not kind of now living well and, their problem. So my father was talking about it. I was telling him, your children will not listen to you. They don't need your advice. They don't care about your advice, suggestions. They only care about how you live. If you want your kids to live a good life, you live a good life. See, your kids will not follow your words, instructions, advice. They follow you. They simply follow you. Many people think, hey, you know what? I'm giving a lot of advice to my kids, and my kids will one day be very good. Won't happen. Unless you teach them the good things, unless you teach them the right habits, right practices, you will not be able to raise your kids in the right way. So my suggestion here is, if you have any family problems, either with your parents, siblings, spouse, or children, first thing here is, I want you to set your expectations very clearly with your family members. If you set those expectations clearly, believe me, you will do wonders, and I'm super confident you will do wonders.